This is the craft video project by Bennett, Hudson, and Joaquin. The pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness were the main ideals that contributed to the American way of life, with these ideas being prominent in the expansion of America's society as the idea of manifest destiny, which is described as, according to Wikipedia, the imperialist belief in the 19th century United States that American settlers were destined to expand westward across North America. This certain destiny was rooted in American exceptionalism, which led Americans to want to expand westward, as this belief gave them reason to do as such. Leading into this era of territorial expansion, which included many purchases and influenced wars to start for the maintenance and gain of territory. One of these territories that was gained was the Louisiana Purchase, which almost doubled the size of the original 13 colonies. While maybe the most important gain of territory and the most controversial was the territory gained after the crushing defeat of the Mexicans in the Mexican-American War, with this territory leading to sectionalism as the conflict of whether or not to include slavery in a new state's constitution was very apparent in order to maintain equal political and influential power. This was due to the separation of the North and South's ideals on slavery and its right or wrong doings. While this was not always the case, as the South were economically reliant on slavery to maintain and contain farms and other crops they were selling for their income, so some of them still viewed it as wrong, but they needed it to survive, with the West viewing it as bad just because it could impact their farming, as the Homestead Act led to the Western farms being a lot smaller than the large plantations of the South, showing this great divide in ideals across the nation, with other conflicts leading to this separation. One of these major conflicts that increased sectional tensions was Bloody Kansas, where many citizens were killed over disputes of slavery or no slavery. This even led to a congressman almost being beaten dead with a cane on Congress's floor, with this tension becoming too great once the political conflict of Lincoln's election led to the eventual breakage of the Union into sovereign powers, thus beginning the Civil War, which is known as the bloodiest war in America's history. One of the most known battles of this war was the Battle of Gettysburg, which helped turn the tide of the war, as it was a strategic turning point, helping lead to the subjugation of the Confederate States. But the damage was immense. So Reconstruction movements began, and over the course of the following years, 3 plans were created to lead Reconstruction within the South. One of these included the Lincoln Plan, which was considered forgiving and lenient to reconstruct the South in the fastest way possible, while the other 2 were polar opposites, as the Johnson Plan pardoned many of the previous rich slave owners, but the Radical Reconstruction Plan was much more harsh onto the South. All these events show how if you don't address conflict, it will boil up until it will simply catch fire.